Today's episode is quite different. I'm not actually dealing with a question from a broker, but rather from somebody outside of the insurance industry. The question comes from Peter in Johannesburg. Liability guy, I find the insurance industry to be quite confusing. Could you explain the difference between a broker, an underwriter, a loss adjuster, and a reinsurer? Fantastic question, Peter. Perhaps the best way for me to explain this is if you imagine yourself at dinner in a restaurant with your in-laws. Sitting at the table is your brother-in-law, your mother-in-law's best friend Janet, and your father-in-law. The broker at the table is your brother-in-law. He's the one who's constantly trying to get you to switch to the Banting diet because he's on it and has lost so much weight. It's only after you switch that you'll actually realize the only reason he lost weight is because he has zero food in his refrigerator and he recently invested in a cauliflower farm. Your mother-in-law, she is the underwriter at the table. She's the one who just knows it all. She's the one who's constantly telling you how to change your life. But she's also the one that alleges she never gives you advice, and that if you want advice, you should go and speak to your brother-in-law. What a great character he is. The loss adjuster is your mom's best friend, Janet. She's an interesting character. She's obviously not related to anyone at the table, but yet she's perceived as being part of the family. She's also very lonely, which is why it'll come as no surprise when your brother-in-law starts hitting on her and ends up taking her home at the end of the evening. This will of course upset your mother-in-law to no end, the underwriter, and she'll probably disown and never speak to Janet again. Unfortunately, she'll have to continue dealing with your brother-in-law because he's family. Your father-in-law is the reinsurer at the table. He's the one who'll selflessly offer to drive everybody home and be the designated driver at the beginning of the evening. He's also the one, you'll note, that starts taking a share of everyone's drink at the table as it arrives, to the point that by the time dinner is over, he's absolutely obliterated and can't drive anybody, including himself, and you'll end up paying for a taxi to take everybody home. I hope that explains everything. Thanks for tuning in.